My name is Victor Monga. I'm serving as Vice Chairman of the board. For those of you who might be interested in learning more about me, please connect me over LinkedIn and or Twitter. Virtue Testing is a California incorporated organization. It's a 501c3 tax-exempt nonprofit. That means all donations paid to VT are tax deductible. VT was founded on simple concepts like curiosity and community. We service 3 centers of excellence. Education is to offer the community to speak, collaborate, hands-on learning, and grow. This helps our community members to amplify their skills to advance their professional careers. Charity is to offer fiscal sponsorships to groups and missions who do not have non-profit legal status. We enable them so they can start accepting tax-deductible donations without having to build and maintain non-profit legal status. Innovation is to work with our partners to crowd test new security platform integrations. We believe state-of-the-art technology can and should be accessible by anyone. We build partnerships with other organizations to collaborate and enhance experience for our members.
So, hi there, my name is Alex Grimble, and I'm a territory leader here at IONS. I'm based in Santa Monica, and I manage IONS business in California. Really pleased to have the opportunity to share the details with you all on IONS cloud security maturity model and associated diagnostic, especially with the local CSA community. It's a really exciting opportunity, and I thank the CSA for giving us this opportunity. Like to do this by really breaking down what I'm going to talk about into 3 sections. First, I'd like to give you all an overview of IONS value proposition. That'll give you context for what we do, why we do it, and how we help other local end users. I'd then like to dive into the model and the diagnostic. And then I've got a video that I can quickly share with you all that will hopefully tie this all together. So this is really what we'll talk about for the foreseeable future with regards to this session. As I mentioned, I'd like to start with kind of IONS value as a whole. And a lot of you may know us from some of the events that we've run over the years in Los Angeles, especially our annual forum, which is a public event, but it's really a very small piece of what we do. Our goal as a company is to help end users make vetted and trusted security decisions and increase their communication and alignment with the business. The organizations that we work with, a lot of them have strong skill sets internally, but competing business priorities, limited time or resources, that makes it tough just to kind of wrap your arms around each and every technical aspect of your shop. Our customers really value getting external third-party expertise that can act as a sounding board, help them validate decisions they're making or uncover new paths. And what they've seen is a lot of the resources that they've looked to traditionally for insight and expertise just lack that practitioner experience and practitioner lens that can really help them make better decisions. So that's part of the way IONS adds value to our customers' efforts is through a group of folks who we call faculty members. That's one side of the house. I'll get to those faculty members in a minute. The other is around communication with the business, and similar challenges exist for our customers there. Even if they've got really strong communication skill sets, they usually just don't have a lot of time on their hands, and they may not have resources that they can tap into that help them translate technical information into a language that resonates with an executive level audience. So we provide a couple of resources that can support our customers on that front as well. Actually, cloud ties into to both of these sides of the house. But going back to that group of folks, we call them faculty members. Many of you might recognize a lot of the names on this slide. What we've done is come up with a roster of about 75 subject matter expert practitioners, people like Adam Shostak, who created Stride and Dread, Dave Kennedy and John Strand, who have written a lot of the tools and built a lot of the techniques that pen testers use across the industry. Aaron Turner is a guy who many of you may know through his work with the local Los Angeles community. The point is, this is a really, really sharp group of practitioners who our subscription customers get access to through what we call the Ask an Expert service. Think of it as a red phone network. As IONS clients, you would all have the unlimited opportunity to tap into the faculty through 60-minute phone conversations around any topic that you're working on from a security perspective. Could be cloud related, talking about encryption and key management, in the multi-cloud environment. Could be something different. We cover the whole spectrum of security risk and compliance. So whether it's quantifying risk, building stronger metrics, threat hunting with open source tools, these are the types of conversations that you'd have the opportunity to have with IANS faculty through the Ask an Expert service. And that's a big piece of what we do. The second piece is our peer community. And going back to what I mentioned earlier, a lot of you guys may recognize the name IANS or even know us from some of the events that we've hosted in the LA area over the years. Some of you may have attended our annual forum. As I mentioned, that's a public event. We have a really rich peer community that's designed for our subscription customers, where we run a lot of more private, invite-only, intimate events that have zero vendor sponsorship. So the key piece with IANS events is it's not about a product pitch. It's really about getting practitioners into a room together so they can share insight and expertise with one another. Lastly, outside of our peer community in the Ask an Expert service, we publish a ton of content for our customers, whether that's white papers that have been written by our faculty, sanitized takeaways from Ask an Expert conversations, or even templates, policy generators, job descriptions that you can repurpose for your own use. But we also have a couple streams of content that support engagement with the C-suite, one of which being a daily briefing that translates InfoSec news into business language, and the other being a library of 500 PowerPoint slides that customers can pull from, edit, and make their own as they're preparing for internal or external presentations. A couple of things that make this offering different are really twofold. One, sole focus on information security. Two, a practitioner lens. We don't have analysts here at IANS. None of our faculty are IANS FTEs. That's actually intentional. They're all practitioners. They've done this stuff in the past. They're still doing it today. Our customers can go and get insight from peer groups. They can do analyst calls. They tell us that they come to IANS because those other avenues lack the structure and the technical chops that the practitioner focus, of IANS brings to the table. Totally different conversation and perspective that you're going to get from someone like Shannon Leitz, who's a member of IANS faculty, but is also leading the DevSecOps and red teaming function at Intuit, as opposed to trying to have the same conversation with an analyst or a researcher, someone from Avar, one of those resources. So those are the couple of things that make IANS different. That's our subscription offering. It's the core of our business. Separately, IANS offers fixed price statement of work consulting. So think of pen testing, comprehensive security assessments, even custom trainings delivered in person or on a virtual basis. The point is, anything that you would contract out to a third party on a fixed price statement of work basis, IANS does all that work as well, and all of it's actually executed directly by our faculty. So this is a separate side of our business, but one that's grown pretty significantly over the past few years as our customer base has. So those are the two sides of our house, but our goal or our world, I guess I should say, is really security, risk, and compliance. The cloud security maturity model is something that we built with Securosis, which is a consulting firm headed up by two of our faculty, Mike Rothman and Rich Mogul, as well as CSA Corporate actually had a hand in helping us build this model as well. And the idea behind it was really, a lot of organizations are on some sort of cloud journey. Some even have, a desired end state or kind of a line in the sand that they'd like to get to, but oftentimes they aren't really sure what steps they need to take in order to get there. And so the goal of the cloud security maturity model is to help organizations understand what their cloud journey looks like, and perhaps more importantly, determine how mature they want to be and what it will take to get there. So it's really a set of guidelines that you as an end user can use as a starting point and as a means to make decisions about how much investment in each cloud category makes sense for your environment. This thing is built on 12 different categories over 3 domains, and then 5 maturity levels, most of which all of which I should say are really mostly based on how much automation you've implemented. So I'm going to flip to actually these 3 domains and I can show you. what they look like here. So this is what we call the foundational domains, of the CSMM. You'll see them along the left-hand side of my screen here, and then those 5 levels, as I mentioned, really based on how mature your automation is. At a foundational level, we look at the core domains that are going to ensure availability of the secure baseline. You've got account security, you've got IAM, you've got monitoring and logging, and incident response. The second domain is structural. You'll see the exact same layout, but the structural domains are really domains to protect the building blocks of your environment. So network, workload, AppSec, data security. This is what we're talking about here. For example, level 1 at the network layer is replicating your on-prem environment. Level 5 is a network designed to fit the application and really enhance application security using cloud-native architecture and design patterns. Lastly, I'll flip to our procedural domains, which are really just processes that are needed to protect your cloud. So integrating security into the application stack, risk assessment and provider selection, secure development processes, and compliance. And again, we're measuring these across these 5 levels of maturity, which are based on automation. So from this model that we built out, we've also built a diagnostic. And the goal of the diagnostic is really twofold. One, we want to give end users a way to self-assess their maturity and to understand prescriptive steps that they can use to kind of up their game or up their maturity to a desired level. And then 2, secondary benefit of this diagnostic is over time, as the data set grows and as more people fill this out, this will allow you to benchmark yourself versus your peers, whether that's companies within your industry of similar size in terms of revenue, headcount, perhaps even at a certain point in time, similar infrastructure. The point is, over time, as the data set grows, so will the value of that data set, because you'll be able to slice it up and benchmark yourself against your peers. So when you take the diagnostic, you're going to get an all-encompassing score across all 3 domains. You'll get a score for each domain, and then you'll get a score for each category. So it's pretty granular, and I'm going to hop onto ION's website and actually click through the diagnostic here so that you can check it out. So this is the homepage for our cloud security maturity model diagnostic. As you can see, I mentioned, right, we've developed this with Securosis as well as CSA. There are a ton of resources on this website that you can use to get yourself up to speed and to go deeper beyond what I'm going to talk about today. And I would encourage you to do so. I'll share these links with the local CSA groups. You guys can click through this, but I'll give you a quick high level around kind of what the diagnostic looks like. So as I click here, you'll get the opportunity to affiliate yourself with a group. I'm a CSA member. And now we're right into all the different factors within the diagnostic. So you'll remember the first piece of the foundational domain, one of those core domains that kind of ensures the availability of the secure baseline, is account security. So that's where we start. That's why I showed you that first. All you're going to do here is self-assess and fill out each of these questions to the best of your ability. So has a checklist been established, for core account security, including protection of the root account, creating a super admin role, requiring MFA, and setting up logging and monitoring. Let's say we're at 2 out of 10 here. You're able to put in comments so that if there's any context that you'd like to keep for future reference as you go back and fill this out again over time, that will be saved. Are accounts centrally managed? Is there consistent provisioning and deprovisioning? Are you doing that using templates? Are multiple accounts used for different functions? And once you fill these out, You can fill out your industry as well, and that goes back to the benchmarking piece. You're just going to click through and you'll get to the next factor, IAM, going back to the second piece of the foundational domain. Same thing here. This takes about 40 minutes or so to fill out in totality. That's what we're hearing from customers. You've got a progress bar here, and you can even save your work in the middle of this and go back to it later. But I'm not going to click through the whole thing over 40 minutes. I'll let you all do that for yourselves. But hopefully this has given you a better kind of high-level understanding for the model and then what we're going for with this diagnostic. I'd like you to hear this not just from me, but also from IONS faculty, Mike Rothman. Mike has worked with IONS for a number of years in a faculty capacity and has also been working with customers outside of IONS through his firm, Securosis. And Securosis played a huge hand in helping us build this model and this diagnostic. Mike works alongside Rich Mogul, who some of you may know if you've taken any of the CSA's cloud security training courses. He actually authored that course. So this is a video from Mike. There are about 20 videos actually that are all about 1 to 2 minutes long, highlighting different aspects of the model, what you can do with it, how the diagnostic works. But I think this one sums up the diagnostic best. So I'll leave you with this.
The Cloud Security Maturity Assessment tool is really kind of a way for an organization to go through basically a self-assessment process. So it's, sure, we can come in, whether it's us or IONS or somebody else can come in and kind of fill out the assessment matrix for you. The reality is it's really designed to be a self-assessment tool that you would use to get a sense of where you are in the process, and then most interestingly and most importantly, over time to benchmark that against other sized organizations in the same industry. So what you're doing is you're really using it as a mechanism to compare where you're at. Now again, there's no right or wrong in terms of one maturity versus another, and your buddy down the street may be really mature on some things, but that may not make sense for your business. But what it does is it gives you the ability to, again, be intentional about the decisions you make, understanding why you're doing things, making decisions that really make sense for your organization, and using the data within the assessment to, one, say, here's where we're at today, two, here's where we want to go, and three, here's how we compare to other folks, just in case you need to substantiate some of those decisions relative to what other organizations are doing out there in the market.
IONS works with a number of your peers throughout not only greater LA, but across the country. Goal for us is just helping end users make vetted and trusted security decisions, as well as helping them increase their communication and alignment with the business. We do that through our decision support subscription, as well as our consulting offerings. Cloud hits both those sides of the house, the vetted and trusted decision side and the business communication side. So we offer both the subscription and consulting, but also this cloud security maturity model and the associated diagnostic to help end users understand where they're at today when it comes to their cloud maturity, where they'd like to be in the future, and how they can bridge that gap. So in terms of next steps, what I would recommend to all of you is take the diagnostic. Learn more about it on our website. Like I said, that we've kind of scratched the surface here, but there are a ton of additional resources on our website that you can leverage to dive deeper into this and to learn more about how this might fit for your organization. It's free to take, it's actionable, you'll get a report right away. And the more people that take this, or the more organizations, I should say, that take this, the larger that data set will be and the more valuable that will become to the community. Secondly, I'd urge you to learn more about IONS. We do have some good peer community events that are upcoming. As I mentioned, those are client deliverables, but we do leave select seats open for folks who would be interested in learning more about IONS and how they might benefit from leveraging our offering in the future. I think now is a time more than ever when end users need external expertise, both from their peers as well as subject matter experts, especially expertise that is objective and comes from a practitioner viewpoint as opposed to an analyst viewpoint. So you can get that from IONS. I'd urge you, if that's something that's on your mind, to learn more about becoming an IANS client, and I can share additional details on how to get in touch with us through the CSA. So thank you all for the time. I appreciate it and hope this has been a valuable use of your time as well.
Thank you, Alex.